everyone. Welcome to our English learning podcast. I'm Elena. It's so nice to have you here with us today.
Hi there, I'm Jack. We're really happy you joined us. In this podcast, we help you learn English in a fun and simple way. Today, we're going to talk about a very common and interesting topic, talking about your work.
Yes, talking about your work is something we do almost every day. When we meet new people, they often ask, "What do you do?" or "Where do you work?" So it's very helpful to know how to talk about your job in English.
That's true. It's also useful when you're traveling, going to interviews, or even just chatting with friends. So today, we'll give you some useful words and ideas to help you speak more confidently about your work.
Let's start with some simple questions and answers you can use. For example, what do you do? You can answer, "I'm a teacher," or "I work in a bank," or "I'm a student."
Right. You can also say, "I work as a nurse," or "I work in marketing," or even "I'm self-employed" if you have your own business. These are all easy and useful phrases.
Jack, can I ask you, what do you do?
Good question. I work as an English teacher. I teach English to students from different countries. I really enjoy helping people learn a new language.
That's great. I also work as a teacher. I teach English online. It's fun because I meet people from all around the world. I love hearing their stories and learning about their cultures.
That sounds interesting. Do you work full-time or part-time?
I work part-time. I usually teach about 4 hours a day. How about you?
I work full-time. I teach at a language center, so I'm busy from Monday to Friday. I usually start work at 9 a.m. and finish at 5 p.m.
Well, that's a long day, but I think you enjoy it, right?
Yes, I do. I love my job. It's not always easy, but it's very rewarding. I feel happy when I see my students improve.
That's wonderful. You know, some people have office jobs, some people do physical work, and others work from home. There are so many types of work.
Absolutely. Some people say, "I work in an office," or "I work from home," or even "I work outside." You can also talk about your working hours. For example, "I work night shifts," or "I work on weekends."
Yes, and don't forget about people who don't work at the moment. Maybe they are looking for a job. They can say, "I'm unemployed," or "I'm looking for work."
Good point. Some people are retired, too. That means they don't work anymore because they are older and have stopped working. They can say, "I'm retired."
Also, students often say, "I don't work, I study," or "I'm a full-time student." That's a good way to describe your situation.
Exactly. It's all about knowing the right words to describe what you do. And remember, it's okay to keep it simple. You don't need long sentences. Short, clear answers are perfect.
Yes, and you can also add a little more detail. For example, "I'm a doctor." "I work in a hospital," or "I'm a chef." "I cook in a restaurant."
Or "I'm a driver." "I drive a taxi," or "I'm a cashier." "I work at a supermarket." These extra details help people understand more about your job.
Let's try something. I'll say a sentence, and you tell me more about it. Ready? "I work in a school."
Okay, you can say, "I'm a teacher. I teach math to high school students."
Nice. Let's try another one. "I work in a hospital."
You can say, "I'm a nurse. I take care of patients and help doctors."
Perfect. See, it's not hard. You just need a few words to make your answer better.
Yes, and the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Try to speak about your work in English every day, even if it's just one sentence.
That's a great idea. You can also practice with a friend or even speak in front of a mirror. Just say things like, "I work in a company," or "I help customers every day."
And if you don't work, you can talk about your daily activities. For example, "I stay at home and take care of my children," or "I'm learning new skills."
Exactly. There's always something to say. Just keep talking and keep learning. English is a language for communication, and every sentence helps you improve.
You're absolutely right, Elena. So don't worry about mistakes, just speak with confidence.
Yes, you're doing great. Keep listening and practicing with us. We're here to help you every step of the way.
Yes, exactly. And when you speak more, you feel more comfortable. That's the key: practice, practice, practice. Even just 5 minutes a day can help a lot.
That's true. You can even try talking about your daily work routine. For example, I start work at 8 a.m., or I have lunch at noon, or I finish work at 6 p.m.
Yes, talking about your routine is a great way to practice verbs and time expressions. You can say things like, I answer emails in the morning, or I meet clients in the afternoon.
Also, it's useful to talk about your workplace. For example, I work in an office with 10 people, or I work in a small bakery near my house. These small details help your English sound more natural.
That's a good point. You can also describe your job tasks. For example, I help customers, I write reports, or I clean the rooms. These are very common actions in many jobs.
Right, and some jobs need special tools or equipment. For example, a construction worker uses tools like hammers and drills. A hairdresser uses scissors and a hairdryer. You can include these details too.
That's a fun way to add vocabulary. And remember, even simple words are powerful when you use them well. Let's try a small exercise. Elena, can you describe a job in a few sentences?
Sure, let me try. I'm a receptionist. I answer phone calls, greet visitors, and help with appointments. I work in a hotel. I like meeting new people every day.
That was great, clear and simple, but full of good information. Listeners, you can try this too. Choose a job and talk about the tasks, place of work, and how you feel about it.
Yes, and you can also practice saying what you like or don't like about your job. For example, I like helping people, or I don't like working late hours.
That's very useful. When someone asks you about your work, you can say more than just your job title. You can share your feelings and experiences. Like, I love my job because I work with children, or my job is stressful, but I enjoy the challenge.
That makes your English sound more natural and friendly. Also, don't forget to ask questions too. You can ask someone, what do you do? Or do you like your job? Or what time do you start work?
Yes, a good conversation goes both ways. You talk, and you ask. That's how real conversations work. Even small questions can lead to a great chat.
And if you don't understand someone's job, it's okay to ask, what does that mean? Or what do you do exactly? People are usually happy to explain.
That's a great tip. Never be afraid to ask questions. It's part of learning, and it helps you connect with others better.
Also, if someone tells you their job, you can reply with interest. Say things like, oh, that sounds interesting. Or wow, I've never met a firefighter before. It shows you're listening and learning.
Absolutely. These small responses make conversations friendlier. It's not just about speaking, it's about connecting with people.
Yes, and work is something everyone can talk about. It's a great topic for learning English and making new friends.
So, keep practicing. Talk about your job, your tasks, your schedule, and your feelings. Use simple words. Speak often. That's how your English will grow stronger, day by day.
Yes, day by day, your English becomes better and better. And remember, you don't have to speak perfectly. Making mistakes is a normal part of learning. Everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers.
That's very true. Sometimes, people are afraid to talk because they're worrying about grammar or pronunciation. But the most important thing is communication. If people understand you, you're doing great.
Exactly. Focus on clear and simple sentences first. For example, I work at a supermarket, or I drive a bus. These short sentences help you feel more confident.
And over time, you can make your sentences a little longer. Like, I work at a supermarket. I help customers and stock the shelves. That's already a great improvement.
Another idea is to keep a work diary in English. Every evening, you can write 1 or 2 sentences about your day at work. For example, today, I had a meeting with my boss, or I cleaned the office and answered many phone calls.
That's a really smart idea. Writing helps you remember new words and expressions. Plus, you can see your progress every week.
Also, try watching short videos or listening to simple English conversations about work. You can find many of them online. They help you hear how people speak naturally.
Yes, listening is so important. You can hear new vocabulary, expressions, and also learn how people ask and answer questions in real life.
And when you learn a new word or phrase, try to use it in your own sentence. That helps you remember it better. For example, if you learn the word manager, say, "My manager is kind," or "I have a meeting with my manager."
Another useful tip: practice speaking with a friend, even just a few minutes a day. You can ask each other questions like, "What time do you start work?" or "What do you do after lunch?"
Yes, and you can also try role plays, pretend you're in a job interview. One person asks questions like, "Tell me about your experience," and the other answers, "I worked in a restaurant for 2 years."
That's a fun way to learn. It also helps if you want to find a new job in the future. Speaking about your work experience in English is a great skill.
And don't forget about body language and voice. When you talk about your work, try to sound confident and smile. It makes your speaking more friendly and clear.
Good point. Even simple English sounds better when you speak with confidence. Try to relax, breathe, and enjoy the conversation.
And if you don't know a word, don't worry. You can explain it using other words. For example, if you forget the word cashier, you can say, "The person who takes money at the shop."
Yes, that's called paraphrasing. It's a great way to keep the conversation going, even if your vocabulary is still small.
It's okay to use easy words. The goal is to be understood, not to sound perfect. And with more practice, you will learn more words naturally.
Exactly. Speaking about your job in English is not just for interviews or classes, it's for daily life. Maybe you meet someone new and they ask, "What do you do?" It's nice to feel ready to answer.
Yes, and when you can speak about your work, it opens more doors. You can make new friends, join more conversations, or even work in new places in the future.
So don't stop learning. Every small step counts. One new word, one new sentence, it all adds up.
Yes, one new sentence a day can make a big difference. It's like building a small bridge step by step. You get closer to fluency.
That's a great way to say it, a small bridge. And remember, it's okay to ask for help. If you don't understand a word at work, you can say, "Sorry, what does that mean?" Or "Can you repeat that, please?"
Yes, simple questions like that are very useful. You don't need to be shy. Most people are happy to help, especially if you are trying your best to speak English.
And people will respect your effort. It shows you are learning and working hard. That's a good thing.
Also, when you talk about your work, you can use words for tools or places. For example, if you are a cleaner, you can say, "I use a mop and a vacuum cleaner." If you work in a kitchen, you might say, "I use a knife, a pan, and an oven."
Right. Every job has its own special words. Try to learn the words you need for your own job. You don't need to know every word in English, just the ones that are useful for you.
And don't forget action words verbs. For example, serve, fix, clean, drive, deliver, answer, help, organize. These words help you explain what you do every day.
Exactly. You can say, "I fix machines," or "I organize files in the office," or "I help customers in the shop." These are all very good sentences.
And try to talk about your working hours too. For example, "I work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., or "I do night shifts," or "I work part-time."
Yes, talking about your schedule is useful. If someone asks, "Do you work on weekends?" you can say, "Yes, I work on Saturdays," or "No, I have weekends off."
Also, many jobs have different tasks. You can say, "I have many responsibilities," or "My main task is customer service," or "I answer emails and prepare reports."
That's true. And if you work with people, you can say, "I work in a team," or "I work with clients." If you work alone, you can say, "I work independently."
And if you want to talk about your experience, you can say, "I have 2 years of experience," or "I started this job last year."
Yes, and if you want to say something positive about your job, you can say, "I enjoy my work," or "My job is interesting," or "I like working with people."
And if you want to say something is hard, you can say, "My job is busy," or "Sometimes it's stressful," or "There is a lot of pressure."
But even if your job is difficult, you can still feel proud. You're learning new skills and improving your English at the same time.
Yes, that's something to feel good about. And remember, small progress every day leads to big results later.
And one more thing, try to enjoy the process. Learning English is not only about studying books. It's also about talking, listening, writing, and having real conversations like this one.
That's right. Talking about your work is a great way to use English in your real life. It's something you can practice every day.
Yes, talking about your work is something you can do every day, and it's a great way to learn new words and improve your English. And you don't need to be perfect, just try your best and keep going.
Exactly. And the more you speak, the more confident you will feel. It's all about practice, little by little.
Let's quickly go over what we talked about today. We shared how to speak about your job, how to describe your daily tasks, working hours, responsibilities, tools, and feelings about your work. We also talked about useful questions and how to keep learning English while doing your job.
That's right. We hope it helped you feel more confident to speak about your work in English. Now, let's look at some important words we used today and learn their meanings with an example for each one.
1. Job, the work you do to earn money. Example, my job is to help customers in a shop. 2. Task, a piece of work you do as part of your job. Example, one of my tasks is to answer phone calls. 3. Responsibility, something that you must do as part of your job. Example, I have the responsibility to prepare reports every day. 4. Shift, the time period you work during the day or night. Example, I work the night shift at the hospital. 5. Team, a group of people working together. Example, I work in a team with 4 other people. 6. Schedule, your work plan or working hours. Example, my schedule is from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. 7. Experience, the knowledge or skills you get from doing something for a period of time. Example, I have 2 years of experience as a driver. 8. Client, a person who buys services from you. Example, I talk to many clients every day at my office. 9. Improve, to make something better. Example, I want to improve my English speaking skills.
These are all very useful words for talking about your work. Try to remember them and use them when you speak or write about your job.
And if you didn't understand everything, don't worry. You can listen again and practice with us. Learning takes time, and every step forward is a success.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast today. We really enjoyed talking with you about this important topic.
If you liked this episode, please like, leave a comment, and share it with your friends or family who are learning English too. It really helps us grow and reach more learners like you.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss our new episodes. We're always here to help you improve your English.
Take care, keep learning, and keep speaking.
Goodbye and see you next time.